for story time. Take my mask off so I can read the stories to you. This story time is for the preschool, children ages 2 to about 5, but as I've said before, everyone can enjoy a good story. And the stories I'm going to have today, I have my little friend Groundhog. Yeah, there he is. He wants to say hello to everyone. Groundhog, say hello. And I'm going to have Groundhog wait here in the basket. Why would I have my friend Groundhog here today? Because we're going to have stories about Groundhog Day. Have you ever heard of Groundhog Day? I have a few things, some information for you, and a couple stories. So first what I have, this is called a non-fiction book because it has information in it. And it's called Groundhog Day. Now I'm not going to read every single page in the story. In the book, I will choose a few that I would share with you about the groundhog. And this is by, oops, let me get to the right page, Lynn Peppas and Crabtree Publishing Company. So Groundhog Day. What is Groundhog Day? Well, it's a fun holiday. It's held every year on February 2nd, and there are some groups of people who will raise groundhogs just for that day. These animals make Groundhog Day a special event, and on this day, people watch to see whether or not the groundhog will see his shadow. It helps them guess when spring will come. Others listen to or will watch reports on the television or the radio. So there is our friend the groundhog. What is a groundhog? Groundhogs are cute, grayish-brown, furry little animals. The groundhog is one of the largest animals in the rodent family. Rodent family would be mice, squirrels, guinea pigs. They're all in the rodent family. There's other names for groundhog also. Woodchuck. Now groundhogs like to eat plants, insects, and seeds, and they'll weigh up to about 9 pounds. Most groundhogs live in the wild. There are some in Canada, which is a country way above us, and some live in the United States, which is our country. They're not found anywhere else. They have very sharp teeth that can bite through wood, and the wild groundhogs, they might look cuddly, but they cannot be a cuddly pet. So there's a picture of a groundhog. He sure does have sharp teeth. And as I said, they're also called woodchucks, whistle pigs, land beavers, or marmots. I think the one name that's funny is whistle pigs. Now groundhogs build their homes in burrows. They make their homes in flat, wide open country areas, and the burrow is an underground tunnel. It's a living space. Oh, and there happens to be a tongue twister that was made up about groundhogs or a woodchuck. You might want to try this sometime. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? He'd chuck as much wood as a woodchuck could if a woodchuck could chuck wood. Something silly for groundhogs and woodchucks. Now the groundhog's burrow can be up to 5 different holes to get down into it. And they use the burrow to store their food, to raise their families, and for protection from other animals. And there's our groundhogs. Hibernation? Have you ever heard that word? Hibernation. It's when it's a long sleep into the winter time. Groundhogs hibernate. They hibernate all winter. That means that they will sleep deeply for a long, long time. Much longer than when you sleep at night. Other animals like bears, squirrels, they hibernate too. Groundhogs hibernate in their burrows, to help keep them safe from the other animals. Animals hibernate during cold weather months. It helps them to live through the winter when there is very little to eat. And there's our groundhog. It's way under his burrow. There's also a picture of bats. Bats will hibernate in their caves. That's a nice little fun fact. There's a special winter celebration. It's called Groundhog Day. It's in the winter. Winter's the coldest time, and winter days are very short of daylight, and they have a lot of darkness. Now, where we live in North America, in our country, winter's in December, and it goes all the way to March, which is a very long time. So by the time Groundhog Day comes around in February, people are kind of tired about all that cold weather, and they're hoping it's going to get warm and spring will come. Oh, the celebrations. Of course, that was when we could all be out and about together. A prediction. On Groundhog Day, the groundhog makes a prediction. A prediction is a guess. You're going to guess something, and they guess that it will happen in the future. So, February 2nd, people watch a groundhog come out of its burrow. Now, if it's a bright, sunny day, the groundhog will see its shadow. The shadow stares at groundhog, and it runs back into the burrow and sleeps for 6 more weeks. Some people believe that means that we'll have 6 more weeks of winter. Now, if it's a cloudy day, groundhog comes out and doesn't see a shadow. And so he might stay out of the burrow for a while. So some people believe that means spring will be coming soon. See, this person is seeing their shadow just like the groundhog might. Now, there is a famous groundhog. He lives kind of nearby. America's most famous groundhog is named Punxsutawney Phil. His nickname is Punsky Phil. He lives in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, which isn't too far from us. He made the first prediction about spring coming about 100 years ago. Well, that's what they say. And part of the story is that Punsky Phil is over 120 years old. Now, they say he's given a special potion in the summertime that makes him live for more than 7 years. But that's just a story. Groundhogs really don't live that long. Most of the time they live to be about 2 to 7 years old. And there they are. There's Punxsutawney with his big old teeth in the front. Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania is the home of the oldest Groundhog Festival, Groundhog Day Festival. And the festival has been going on for 100 years. People come from all over, and there's a special group that carry out the Groundhog Day customs every year. They're in a circle. They're called the Inner Circle. And on February 2nd, those members of the Inner Circle dress up in their tuxedos and top hats, and they take Punsky Phil from his burrow at Gobbler's Knob. He lives in a terrarium there near their local library. So Punxsutawney Phil is not a wild groundhog. They keep him in a special terrarium by their library. And there they are with their top hats and their tuxedos, waiting to see what Punxsutawney Phil might predict. You know, there's other Groundhog Days in other parts of our country. Yep. The United States also has, in New York, Staten Island Chuck. He makes the predictions in New York City. In the state of Georgia, there's a groundhog named General Beauregard Lee. He makes their predictions if there's going to be an early spring. And then in Canada, there is also a groundhog that's famous, and his name is Shubenacadie. I can't say this word. Shubenacadie. That is a tongue twister. Shubenacadie Sam, and he lives in Nova Scotia. Now, all the cities that have Groundhog Day celebration, but there are some that don't. Many wait to learn about the groundhog's prediction, maybe like on TV, on the news, announcement in the newspapers. So that's all the wonderful things that we know and have learned about Groundhog Day. There we go. And if you remember when I was telling you some information about Groundhog Day, I told you about a tongue twister. So I found this book. It's called How Much Wood Could a Woodchuck Chuck? It's by Danny Alderman and some of his friends. And it is published by the kids at our house. Now, there's a whole lot of different tongue twisters in this book, but I just chose two to share today. One, of course, is How Much Wood Could a Woodchuck Chuck? Because our story was about groundhogs, also known as woodchucks. So how much wood could a woodchuck chuck? If a woodchuck could chuck wood, he'd chuck as much wood as a woodchuck could if a woodchuck could chuck wood. Whew, that's really a tongue twister. And since woodchucks are also groundhogs, or groundhogs are also woodchucks, there's a tongue twister for the groundhogs. How much ground could a groundhog hog if a groundhog could hog ground? As much ground as a groundhog could if a groundhog could hog ground. Whew, another tongue twister, but they surely are fun to do. This book is at the library, and it has a lot of other tongue twisters, so you can always borrow this and enjoy tongue twisters. Now, usually we just have two stories, but today, since I had information, and then I just had a couple tongue twisters, we have a third, which is actually our story today. It's called Groundhog Day. Groundhog Day. This is by Margaret McNamara, and the publisher is, get to my page, Aladdin Paperbacks. Groundhog Day. One morning, Mrs. Connor wrote a poem on the blackboard. If the sun shines bright on Groundhog Day, the snow will swirl until it's May. If the snow blows hard on Groundhog Day, the sun will shine before it is May. Two very nice little poems. Mrs. Connor said, today is February 2nd. And winter began 6 weeks ago. Winter's been here a long, long time. Winter will end in 6 weeks from now, because we are halfway through winter. But wait, what is Groundhog Day? Asked Ayana. Jamie raised his hand and he said, well, if on this day a groundhog can see his shadow, we will have 6 more weeks of winter. But if a groundhog cannot see his shadow, then spring will be here soon. That's crazy, said Michael. Miss Connor said, it's crazy, but it's kind of fun. So Mrs. Connor decided to have sort of an experiment. So she set a small cage on her desk. Is that a groundhog? Asked Hannah. No, said Becky. That's a hamster. It's a hamster. His name is Chester, said Mrs. Connor. He will be our groundhog for today. So Mrs. Connor took Chester to the windowsill. Chester will see his shadow for sure, said Riza. I don't want, though, any more winter, said Emma. So Mrs. Connor opened the door to Chester's cage. Chester looked up. He sniffed around. And Chester slipped out of his cage. He looked all around. I wonder if he saw his shadow or not. Woo! No shadow, cried Katie. Woo! No more winter, said Emma. Well, Mrs. Connor said, remember, Chester's not always right. And remember, this is just a legend or a story. But for everyone on that day, it turned out that the rest of the year was bright and sunny all year long, and Chester was right. And they were all really happy. So that's our story about Groundhog Day. It's from the Robin Hood School series of books for if you're ready to read. It's another book you can borrow from the library. So I thought that was a lot of fun also. And so I have a take and make. Here it is. Very simple take and make. Remember, a take and make is a little package that's going to have a craft in it. Mom or Dad could call the library and make arrangements to pick one up, or you can stop by the library and pick one up. So we did one for Groundhog Day. It's going to be pretty easy. As you can see, it's 1/2 of a paper plate. And all you will need, some crayons, so you can color your groundhog. And then you can put flowers on there, decorate it however you would like. But here's what's going to be the fun. If you have your Groundhog Day, you take it over to the window and you hold it right in front of the window. And if the groundhog in the back can see his shadow, he's afraid and he goes back in his burrow, and it'll mean more winter. But if he's there and he doesn't see his shadow because it's a cloudy day, maybe spring will be here soon. What would you like it to be? I think I would like spring to come soon, but not until after we have maybe a little bit of snow to have some fun with in winter. So this is our take and make. Everything is in the bag. The paper plate is ready and cut. You're going to have a little groundhog, some little flowers. All you need is a crayon and some glue to put your groundhog experiment for Groundhog Day together. And that is what we have for our take and make. And now, how about if we have a couple songs before we go? What is our first song that we usually do? Anybody remember? Getting our spiders out. The itsy bitsy spider went up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. Out came the sun and dried up all the rain. And the itsy bitsy spider went up the spout again. You remember that song? That is wonderful. And now I'm going to use my hands and my fingers to pretend I have stars in the story room. Can you make stars with your hands? Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are, up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Very nice. That's another song I like to sing. And maybe a clear night, Mom or Dad could take you out back and you could look and see if you can find some nice stars, and there might be one that's brighter than all the rest. That could be your twinkle, twinkle star. And of course, what other song do we enjoy singing but what's that? What are we getting ready for? You're correct, it's the wheels on the bus. The wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. The wheels on the bus go round and round, all through the town. The wipers on the bus go swish, 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 swish. The wipers on the bus go swish, 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 all through the town. The horn on the bus goes beep, 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 beep. The horn on the bus goes beep, 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 all through the town. Doors on the bus go open and shut, open and shut, open and shut. The doors on the bus go open and shut, all through the town. Lights on the bus go blink, 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 blink. The lights on the bus go blink, 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 all through the town. The babies on the bus go wah, 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 wah. The babies on the bus go wah, 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 all through the town. Mommies on the bus go shh, 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 shh. While mommies on the bus go shh, 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 all through the town. Daddies on the bus go a bumpity bump, a bumpity bump, a bumpity bump. The daddies on the bus go a bumpity bump, all through the town. And the kids on the bus jump up and down, up and down, up and down. The kids on the bus jump up and down, all through the town. Oh, that's always a really fun song to do. So that'll be our time for story time today. And oh, just for a moment, our little groundhog's coming out again. He wants to say bye-bye to everyone. Enjoy your Groundhog Day. Don't forget to check. Does the groundhog see a shadow or not? You want them to check? He wants you to check on Groundhog's Day, February 2nd. He says goodbye to everyone. So bye-bye, I'm Mrs. Can or Miss Diane, whichever name you'd like to use, and it's West Effort Library saying, we miss you all. Can't wait till you can come back to the library. Bye-bye.